Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Yes, baby, yes. Now this is exactly what I'm talking about. This right here is how you deal with the cancel mob. This is how you protect the sacred freedoms that is the most core foundational elements of Western civilization. It's the reason we've been leading the world in the modern era. It's because of these foundational ideas surrounding free speech, the freedom of expression, individual rights, human rights, the list goes on. It's because of these ideas that we live the lives that we've lived today. And it's about damn time that people start realizing it and standing up for what's important against this cancel mob, this authoritarian leftist virus. You know, in the past, you saw people thinking with their pocketbook. They were too scared to lose out on opportunities, too scared to stand up against a loud minority. But I think we've made some progress, and no longer is that the case. We're at a point now where leftists screech, cancel this person, destroy their livelihood, kick them off the team, fire them from their job. You know, the typical pitchfork and torches, but the response to these people these days is exactly what you want to see. And in this case, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and crew refusing to give in to the leftist demands. It's an absolutely beautiful sight to behold. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we're probably gonna have to start off with a little bit of backstory here. This is Harrison Butker. Harrison Butker gave a speech where he espoused his traditional values.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
He's a traditional man who was given a platform to speak, and he said what was on his mind. But obviously what he said doesn't exactly align with the far leftist doctrine, and so the reaction was exactly as you might expect. There's this.
First and foremost, until a few months ago, we were both employed by the Kansas City Chiefs. I cheered you on for 6 years straight. And with that, I would assume we went to the same PR training. But since all of that obviously left your when you went to go give that speech, I thought I'd be a good coworker. Share my notes. Let's get started. Vague. Biggest takeaway is you now represent $1 billion organization. You are no longer just Harrison Butker. You are now Harrison Butker, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. And anything you say or do that doesn't align with that brand, scissoring just like the lesbians you hated in that video, will be grounds for term.
Then there was this from a left-wing podcast.
The kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who has got to be the most sexist, white supremacist dick I have ever seen in my life.
I f***ing hate him.
It's unbelievable that at a time, this last football cycle, where all of these women are attracted to the NFL because of Taylor Swift. Right. And here's this incredibly successful woman, Taylor Swift, that has this amazing work ethic. And then I forget that this type of person exists everywhere. And this is evangelical Christianity. What he said is so disrespectful, to such a large portion of women. And it's so dismissive. I hope that he is canceled to hell and back. And I feel so sorry that his wife has to sleep with him.
The typical feigning moral outrage. Oh, how dare he? Any ideas that counter secular third-wave feminism are not allowed. The typical reeing. And so a pressure campaign started. All the lamestream media journalists that you might expect started writing articles, pressuring the Kansas City Chiefs to do something to drop Harrison Butker. And then this happened.
I know Harrison. I've known him for 7 years, and I judge him by the character that he shows every single day, and that's a good person. That's someone who cares about the people around him, cares about his family, and wants to make a good impact in society. When you're in the locker room, there's a lot of people from a lot of different areas of life, and they have a lot of different views on everything, and we're not always going to agree, but and there's certain things that he said that I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand the person that he is, and he's trying to do whatever he can to lead people in the right direction, and that might not be the same values as I have, but at the same time, I'm going to judge him by the character that he shows every single day. That's a great person, and we'll continue to move along and try to help build each other up to make ourselves better every single day. But at the end of the day, we're going to come together as a team, and I think that'll help out as well as eliminating those distractions outside the building as well.
The guys are good with that. They understand. I mean, they understand how things work. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion. And that's what's so great about this country. You can share those things and you work through it. And that's what guys do.
What makes the locker room so cool is you're able to have those discussions and become better and make those decisions for yourself. And so even though they're very vast, I guess, differences as far as those speeches happening at the same time. I mean, you're able to talk to guys and you get knowledge. You make your own decisions at the end of the day, and I think that's what makes this country so great, is that you're able to get as much knowledge as you can, and then you make your own decisions. And it gets a little divisive sometimes when you get to social media and you get to outside the building, but in the building you can have those healthy discussions and still be friends at the end of the day, even though you might not agree with exactly the same things.
I didn't talk to him about this. Didn't think we need to. We're a microcosm of life here. Everybody's from different areas, different religions, different races, and so we all get along. We all respect each other's, opinions, and not necessarily do we go by those, but we respect everybody to have a voice. It's a great thing about America, man, and we're just, like I said, a microcosm of that. And I wish, my wish is that, everybody could kind of follow that. So, yeah.
With so many women just on staff here and in the building, his comments kind of touched on women in the workforce. I mean, what do you tell them if they come to you with a concern about players speaking ill of, women in general?
Yeah, that hasn't happened. I don't think he was speaking ill to women, but he has his opinions, and we all respect that. I let you guys in this room, and you have a lot of opinions that I don't like. So.
Beautiful, just beautiful. I don't have much else to say in terms of my initial reaction. Perfect. It's just perfect. In today's landscape, what Kansas City Chiefs coach Andy Reid and their quarterback Patrick Mahomes just did, that's a tough job. That takes courage. But they did it, and they did the right thing. They stood up again for the foundational values of Western civilization and, most importantly, the American freedom experiment. You don't get to bully people into submission, into submitting to your ideas. See, what leftists want is more of a cultural revolution. They want a cultural reckoning that lines the country up with their beliefs. They're essentially egoists and fascists. They have their own subjective opinions about life, marriage, gender roles, and dynamics, and they believe that only their viewpoint is acceptable, and that their viewpoint should be enforced either by government censorship or tech censorship. It's an absolutely appalling view, and it's counter to everything that makes America great. The reason this country is so great is because Harrison Butker can get on that stage and say whatever he wants. As long as he's not inciting violence, he can have whatever opinion he wants. He can criticize the government, he can criticize the president, criticize the police, criticize the current regime or the current system. In some countries, you do that, they're gonna literally chop your head off. Well, I'm just gonna say it, that's kind of the world that leftists want to live in, where your head is metaphorically chopped off if you say something like motherhood is beautiful and women should embrace it. It's absolutely insane. They want you to lose everything. Everything you've worked so hard for and built, they want to take it away from you because you have a slightly different opinion than them. You have a different perception, a different perspective based on your own life experience. I come from a very traditional family. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I say it all the time. My dad was the hard worker and the provider. I view it as the most beautiful thing, and I've worked very hard to replicate it in my own life. The idea that I'm some sort of thought criminal, that I should be condemned or feel ashamed, that I should have action taken against me, well, it's reprehensible, it's horrible, and it's fascist, and we should all be rallying against it. And thankfully, these days, it seems as though that's exactly what's happening. Leftist cancel culture is losing power day by day. Netflix stood by Dave Chappelle. The Kansas City Chiefs stood by Harrison Butker. And that's just just a few of the many examples that we've seen, no longer are we giving in to the pitchfork mob, to the cultural revolutionists. It seems as though cancel culture is on its last leg. I'd argue the good guys are finally winning.